No Stress WordPress. The flagship course by Dave Foy is opening doors to new students. How can this course help you build websites faster, like up to 10 times faster? Let's check with the master himself. Here's Dave Foy with all the details, and hopefully he'll show us the sneak peek behind the actual course content. So, Dave, what's this course about and who this course is for?
Yeah, awesome. Well, I kind of created the course. This is version 2.0 of the course. I've recently completely remade it from scratch, so it's totally new. Literally bang up to date for right now. I noticed that people kind of were coming into the work, to using WordPress and Elementor, the page builder, and very soon being very excited about it because it's drag and drop and visual and everything else, and you don't need to be a coder to use it, which is awesome. But people soon very quickly realize, oh dear, you've actually, this is just one part of the bigger, WordPress ecosystem. And so not understanding how it fits into WordPress, and all kinds of kind of questions and confusions, and people not having a process and a workflow and a kind of like a conceptual understanding of how all these tools fit together and work together, people end up running around in circles, crossing the fingers, trial and error, lots of confusion, lots of websites taking 3 months that should take 3 days, people having to spend hours and hours and hours looking on random YouTube tutorials. So I wanted with No Stress WordPress to be something that anybody, not even beginners, anybody at any, skill level really, who want to use Elementor and WordPress together to build websites for whatever reason. It might be for clients, it might be for yourself, it might be for marketing campaigns, it could be anything. Teach like a rock solid, simple workflow and process all the way from absolute, from scratch, literally, even before you install WordPress, like step by step, all the way through how to use this amazing page builder tool to build these kind of like fully functional websites and clear up any possible confusion or being mystified by what goes where and in what order to do what and all that kind of thing. So yeah, that's the plan.
And do you want to share the sneak peek, the behind the scenes, what's included in the course?
Yeah, I'd love to. Definitely, yeah. Do you want me to share from my end?
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Let me just click on this. Let me know.
Yep, I can see your screen now.
Awesome, brilliant. Okay, so yeah, we're currently in the No Stress WordPress Academy. So this is like the dashboard for when you first log in. I will say that you don't just get the course. In fact, there's another course and several bonuses as well. But you are probably as valuable, if maybe not even more valuable. You get access to like a private Facebook community as well. So that the No Stress WordPress group is just, I think we've got 500 students in there now, and the support and the encouragement and the access to kind of instant answers is just completely invaluable, really. So even people who were in the version 1 of this course have still got access and still ask for help and still pitch in and help themselves. So the Facebook group, and we have coaching calls and stuff like that as well. But when you log into the Academy itself, you basically, after you've taken the tour and I tell you a few important things, you have the core program. So the core program is basically like two courses. So number 1, start here, is the perfect starter site.
Okay.
So what this course does, and I'll dip into the actual outline. What the perfect starter site does is it's a fairly short course. It's only 4 modules. It probably take you about 2 hours to take from beginning to end. My idea is you need to start off with a rock solid foundation before you can do anything else. So we work through creating an installation of WordPress that has all your settings set up, and not only set up, but you understand why you've got those settings and what the knock-on effect is, and everything else. So you've got like this rock solid starting point. So when you do have a new project, you're up and running in like a minute, with the new project, with everything set up. So you don't have to think about it. You've not got any kind of like mental overhead. You know, you're just in. So like, for instance, like in module 1, I've got a few things. It's all video based. So often fairly, I don't know why that's not, it's looking a bit fuzzy there. I'm not entirely sure why. But we start off with, you know, why you need a starter site anyway, and actually kind of installing the starter site. There we go. And I go through several options for remote hosting, and kind of I'll go through, you know, how to install WordPress properly and very quickly on several kind of different hosting solutions, including several remote hosting and Cloudways, the cPanel, and also kind of local as well. Go through some of the basics of WordPress settings to start off with. Just kind of bear in mind the stuff you're doing in this course, you're only doing once. You never have to do them ever again. So we just go through all the settings of WordPress, and just, I don't go through every setting. It's not a case of just reading out, you know, reading out the interface. I'm just pointing out just kind of key things that you absolutely must set, and the knock-on effect in future of why you would set those things there. So then module 3 is all about theme, and in the theme, really, we're covering quite a lot of stuff about what the theme is, why you would need one anyway, what's the importance, and why would you choose a theme, and what are you looking for when you choose a theme. So there's all kinds of like pros and cons, and about, do you need child themes and other kind of easier ways for non-coders. There's quite a few things here about sort of setting up your sort of single color palette for the whole site, and you're basically kind of setting a few things up in this course for your sort of future success. It's kind of make things easier for your future self when you're building websites. And then module 4, plugins. So there's all like the installation and proper setup of Elementor, the exact settings, and then just recommendations for all kinds of essential plugins for security and backups and migration and SEO and page speed and things like that. And things like why you need them, when you should install them, when you should activate them, because sometimes some of these you activate at the start, sometimes you activate them before you go live. And there's a cheat sheet here as well, so you can just download that and like come back to it. We also have at the end of all of these a lesson that I call cut to the chase. Mm-hmm. So for the theme, it's cut to the chase, plugins, cut to the chase. They're just like, I don't know, like 2 minutes 44, this one. So if later on you think, oh, what was that thing about image compression plugins, or what was that thing about the theme, you can come back and you can just watch the cut to the chase. So it's just literally just the bullet points, you know.
Summary of everything, I guess.
Yeah, I basically start off at all of them with, in module 4, we looked at something to do, blah, 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 with plugins. Here are the important points. Boom, 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 and that's it. So it's just the absolute essentials to, you know, to come back to. The idea is once you've completed that and you've graduated from that, and it's pretty simple stuff, mm-hmm. you then move on to No Stress WordPress itself. Okay. So there's a brief introduction from me, just explaining a few things and what's going to be happening, and the point of the course, and why, kind of going through what we're going to be doing at a kind of a high level. Mm-hmm. And it goes through the entire process in a really, what I think, a really logical way. I thought that version 1 of this course was really logical, but when I came to design 2, version 2, I kind of rethought quite a lot of it, actually. I think that this is even better. So module 1 is really simple. Module 1 is 3 lessons. It's kind of keep it nice and simple, give people a bit of a win to start off with. You know, they've finished a module really quickly. But we basically create the development site from the starter site, and the various things that you need to quickly set up and look for, again, to make everything easier for yourself as when you in future throughout the development. Show people like how to add the logo properly, in which formats, and the various kind of pitfalls, and then also how to actually properly set your brand styles across the whole site to make your life easier and to make things more consistent, and all that kind of thing. Module 2 is the framework. So what I'm doing here is saying, right, now that you've got this kind of solid setup, we're going to build the frame of the site. So we're talking like the header and the footer and the nav and setting up various templates and stuff. It's not the case that you have to build those to start off with, but I explained it throughout the course that I like people to be able to kind of build something quickly for clients, something that a client can get into and actually start to use straight away. So if you've got a header there, you've got the nav menu, even if it's just a dummy thing with some dummy pages for now, it's kind of better for everybody to be able to use the site. The templates lesson is probably the only lesson in the entire course that isn't really practical. You don't actually do anything in this lesson, but I just thought before we start, I've got to cover, loads of confusion about templates. I'm talking the theme templates, like the default template that you can choose when you're creating a new page or post. And in Elementor, you've got a choice of the Elementor canvas, you've got a choice of Elementor full width, and then you've got Elementor, which has got a template library. And so I kind of just take the opportunity, 12 minutes, in a fun way. I think there's like little moving diagrams and animations and all sorts, but just to try to kind of clear up that basic stuff that if you don't understand, you might as well kind of like not even carry on, because everything relies on you understanding that how WordPress works, basically. So with the framework built, the next module is layout system, and this is a module that I actually carried on making the rest of the course and then realized that we needed it. So I went back and built it with student feedback. I spent hours talking to various Elementor designers, trying between us to kind of thrash out, is there a layout system that a series of step-by-step like settings that you can set up when you're creating pages and sections and things that always looks good? I talk about it in this lesson here, the goal. What is the goal of a layout system? Things like alignment down the page, things like consistency of sizes and spacing and gaps and things like an actual kind of grid, like designers will design to a grid, and a confident use of like space, like white space and negative space. To kind of explain what the goal is, talk a little bit about Elementor's own system for creating layouts, which is weird to say the least, but explain how it works and how to work with it rather than it controlling you. And then, as I say, it wasn't just me, but through several people's help, including students who I ran this system by, and they actually tried it on their own sites and got back to me with problems. So we came out with this, what I call this foolproof layout system. It is just make the settings. There's nothing to think about. You can break the system because you've got a system, so you can break the rules if you understand the rules in the first place. We talk a little bit about how you apply that layout system to nested sections. You got sections inside sections, and then a little bit on rules for adapting the system if you need to. If you've got certain situations where you need a little bit less of this or a little bit more of that or whatever. So what's the thought process? The beauty of the layout system is that, well, it frees you up to be more creative because you're not having to think about the design and the layouts. You've got a framework that takes away a whole layer of decision making. You don't have to make decisions. You don't have to really think about it. It's easy for designers and non-designers. And also in future, when you come back to edit those pages again, like 6 months down the line, you understand what the thought process was. You understand what the system was, rather than thinking, God, I don't know whether these were just random widths, random padding settings. I've no idea. It just kind of just makes everything easier, and it just always looks great. Module 4 and 5 are what I have decided. Really, these are my terms, but I'm kind of saying that really you can create two kinds of content in WordPress, and that's not posts and pages, although posts and pages are two types of content, but it's like standalone content and template driven content. So we give an example of standalone content. I go into in this lesson all the pros and cons. You know, why would you use this particular, what is it? When would you use it? Why would you use it? What are the kind of the pros and cons of this kind of content? And we build the homepage of the site as an example all the way through this module. This is like an Elementor masterclass, basically.
Okay.
It could be a course in its own right, because I think it just teaches people everything they could really need to know about using the Elementor editor. I think template driven content is where we go into using the theme, like using Elementor to override the theme. And again, like with the entire course, I'm really keen on explaining to people why this matters. You know, it's not a case of, well, I'm just going to just teach you it because it's there. I've kind of carefully chosen things that actually matter. You know, if you use this, you're going to be able to provide this functionality for clients, or you're going to save yourself like loads of time in future, or it's going to be easy to maintain, or whatever else. So this is starting to use the power of the theme builder to really make sites much easier, far more dynamic, far easier for clients to use and add content to, and all that kind of thing. So, you know, the single templates, the archive templates, and creating the module outline kind of belies the power of the stuff taught. It looks really simple, but you know how you can create all these kind of like alternative templates for, you know, for different taxonomies and different kinds of posts and different kinds of pages and stuff like that. And then we really then go into, like, module 6 is the next level. So it's like, right, you've now got a foundation which is probably, you're now probably ahead of 80% of people who use Elementor already. So it's now got module 6, the next level goes into how do you start to provide those really kind of complex, higher level professional websites. So we're going to like custom post types, custom fields, custom taxonomies, hooks, and all that kind of thing. So it's kind of getting him really into like more advanced functionality. And module 7 is go live. So it's basically like a process of, there's some bits about maintenance and plugins and things, and what happens if plugins, like a plugin update, breaks your site. You know, how do you fix those things? How do you kind of train clients? How do you hand things over? And then the migration process and the kind of the checklist of things that you need to think about for actually making a site live, from speed, like speed considerations and SEO considerations. You know, how do you make a new site live without kind of breaking the client's, you know, links and SEO and things like that as well. So it really is like a from beginning to end, but with like a carefully designed, you know, framework of understanding. The course can't possibly teach people absolutely everything, but I want it to be the sort of thing so that, you know, that teach a man to fish kind of thing.
And
you've
got a lot of bonus content as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. So there's more bonus content coming. At the moment, we've got DNS and domains demystified. So this is a really short little course. But I kind of see so many web designers who are struggling with DNS and domains and pointing domains and buying domains and understanding where to put them, and repointing domains without like breaking your client's email service, which we've all done many times. I feel like you're not a proper web designer until you've broken your client's email at least once. So it's just an opportunity, some really short lessons just to kind of explain, look, this is how it is. This is how it works. This is what name servers are. This is how I recommend you manage your domains. Basically, don't let your hosting company do it. So that has proven to be really helpful to a lot of people. I've got a little 10-minute CSS crash course, because a little bit of CSS knowledge is always good. Just teaches people the real basics of, you know, selectors and style rules and descendant selectors and the cascade. It's really simple. This building a website with Elementor Pro, I made as a little stopgap kind of thing when Elementor's theme builder came out last March 2018, I think. I wanted to kind of give people an overview of how do you build like a full website with Elementor Pro. Now, a lot of this is now superseded by No Stress WordPress version 2. It goes into it in much more depth, but it's actually quite useful as a little like quick course. You go through like the basic setup and headers and footers and sub pages and archive templates and post templates and things, and kind of, you know, building a real site, which in No Stress WordPress, we actually build a real site for a pretend client, but you end up with a website, you know, you end up with like a case study website. I've got in here like a little page speed live call I did with students last year, which is just goes through all of the things, you know, when you're looking at page speed tests, or what do all these things mean, you know, to do with, I don't know, like blocking resources and I don't know, all kinds of things in XGAccess files and stuff. So it's just kind of like a really simple look at that. There will be coming very soon a bonus course about using style kits, the style kits plugin for Elementor, for kind of really being able to control like the global styling of your sites. Although it won't make sense unless you've taken No Stress WordPress itself. I've got a few other ideas as well for things, but I want to base bonuses on stuff that people will find really useful. You know, things that I see people struggling with, basically.
And
but that's it.
And the enrollment would be like they need to pay annually, or they get lifetime access?
Oh, they get lifetime access. Yeah. So when you enroll, you get lifetime access actually to the course itself, to all future updates. So all my version 1 students, several hundred of them who enrolled in version 1 and took it and enjoyed it, now get access also to version 2 and everything. And so yeah, it's lifetime.
Plus the Facebook group.
Access to the group as well.
Yeah, the Facebook group.
Yep. Yeah.
And this course will be open from which date to which date, and what would be the pricing?
Yeah, so it's open from, it opens on October the 29th.
Okay.
And then I'm going to be keeping the doors open until I think it's the following Monday or Tuesday. I think it's like midnight of the Monday.
Almost 8 days.
What's that, sorry?
Almost 8 days.
Yeah, or is it actually, no, it might actually be 6 days. It's like the Tuesday.
because of the time zone difference.
Yeah, it's the time zone difference. I think for you, it's probably like around about midday on the Tuesday, the 5th of November. But I think for people in like US West Coast, it's probably like the midnight before. So, but yeah, the doors are open till then. I actually don't know when I'm going to open the doors for this again. I have no plans. Basically, every time I open the doors briefly, I let, you know, a chunk of people in, and then I can kind of give them all my attention and support and help. And there's a lot of support and a lot of attention. So that's why I kind of close the doors, and I think about like opening it again some other time, you know, next year. It's going to be $497 this time.
Okay.
Which the students who are in there are constantly saying to me, Dave, you need to sell this for like 3 times what you're selling it, you know, because of everything else. And I agree with them, actually. I think it was $197 the very first time I opened it, and I've soon realized it's the value in it is just far more than that. There will be a payment plan as well, so you can spread the cost like over 3 months. I've got it at $197 a month, so you don't have to kind of just, you know, do the whole $497 in one go. You can kind of split it over 3 months as well.
Awesome. Course looks good. The core program looks good, and even the bonuses, and I'm sure you're going to add a few more of those. And I guess you also do live calls, right?
Yeah, we do live calls as well. I mean, as part of the, I don't know, publicized offer for when you buy the course, you get 2 live coaching calls with me. So it might be on a particular topic that a lot of people are asking about, or it might be like in a Q&A format where people can submit questions, and I can even bring them on screen live, and we can sort of, you know, go through issues with that. Honestly, I've run loads of coaching calls. I don't really keep count, but there will be at least 2. So, yeah.
Awesome. The link for the course would be in the description of this video. So
Yeah.
awesome. Congratulations on the launch, and hopefully I'll email at the right time, at the right, time zone.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's always good. Time zones are the bane of my life.
Okay, man. Thank you so much for sharing the back end sneak
No worries.
peek. It was at the sneak peek was really good. Like it's loaded with information, especially for not just for newcomers, even for people who are already building websites. Because even though someone would be building website, the workflow is still kind of work in progress thing. But this will like teach you, like you can actually flip your workflow to save time and build faster.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. That's the whole point of this course. It's all about using these tools so that you can build things faster, more confidently, more profitably, and just with more confidence as well. I actually don't think you can. It's something that I've only realized recently. It's one of the benefits of this training is the it's like the improving like your sort of quality of life, in terms of your confidence in yourself. As I mean, you'll have done this before, Devinder, when you were developing websites like all the time. Certainly, like back in the day, when you kind of a tendency to feel like maybe like a bit of an imposter syndrome or a bit of a fraud, because you think, I can't figure out how to do this thing that the client's asking, and so I think that's one of the biggest benefits. It's actually the peace of mind. It's like confidence. Like, yeah, I could do that.
And it's all about like pouring your experience. Like what you've done here is basically you poured your experience here. Like this is the way I've done it. I've saved so much hours and flipped projects faster. You can also do it. Here's the way to do it, right?
Exactly. That's it in a nutshell. Yeah, it's just the sum total of all my experience of my own work with websites and clients over the past 20 years, but also 3 years now of teaching and understanding what it is that people need to struggle with. So yeah, it's a combination of all of that stuff.
And it's version 2.0, so it's certainly better than the previous one.
It's got to be better. It's a number up. It's one more. Yeah.
And
one
usually,
more.
And usually when you do, version 2, like I did version 2 of People Builder, course, and it was like re-recording from scratch, everything. Like there was not even a single video that came from the previous version.
No.
Even the whole course index was different.
Yeah, I decided that with this, it's like, I'm just going to just completely start again. Partly because the technology's changed, but partly as well, just because I think I can teach it better.
And students' feedback, like they tell you like what they liked, what they didn't like from the first, round of the course.
Exactly. I always say to students, I'm constantly saying to them, I need your feedback. I will do my best to try and figure out how to best serve you, but you need to tell me. And please understand that you're not going to be hurting my feelings. Please don't think that if I tell him that I didn't enjoy that bit, or I didn't get anything from it, or it was badly done, that I'm going to kind of cry. And it's all about improving the experience for everybody. That's all I'm bothered about, really. So I welcome the negative stuff just as much.
Yeah, that's how it should be, actually. So thank you so much for sharing this. Best of luck for the new season of your course. And
thank you.
I'll share everything regarding this course as and when it goes live with all the people who would be watching this video on other platforms. So have a good day. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. Bye-bye.